I'm Matt McClure.
And I'm Francesca Maxime, and this is Currents. Prayers for Haiti following this week's massive earthquake.
We need more people down here.
Local calls for immigration reform.
It's the kind of thing that gets put off and put off and put off, and I think people can no longer stand as a society for us to wait any longer.
And he's opened up his heart and his wallet to feed the less fortunate in Queens.
Your feeling is inside is great. That feeling is great. You can't change that for nothing.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. It is estimated that at least 50,000 Haitians have been killed by Tuesday's devastating earthquake. Relief efforts are kicking into high gear, with several groups like the Red Cross and Caritas International working around the clock to help victims. But the relief effort isn't the only pressing concern right now, with people beginning to look at the earthquake's implications in the political arena. Many Haitian citizens here in the U.S. now fear being deported in the midst of this crisis, even though President Obama has temporarily suspended deportations.
Yesterday, I spoke with Brooklyn Auxiliary Bishop Guy Saint-Cyrique, the first Haitian-American bishop in the U.S., and he said that Haitian citizens currently here should not be sent back to Haiti, and the church is doing its part to help in that.
The church as a whole is responding well. Number one, we are going to try to obtain TPS, Temporary Protective Service status for the Haitians who are here, so that no one will be forced back into Haiti at the present time.
Well, that status would allow Haitian citizens to live and work here for a certain length of time. Monsignor Ronald Marino, the vicar for migration for the Brooklyn Diocese, has asked the U.S. Bishops' Conference and Senator Charles Schumer to help.
And earlier on in the week, I had a chance to sit down and talk with Monsignor Marino about immigration in the diocese. We'll share that coming up later in the show.
But first, we take you to yesterday's immigration rally at Judson Memorial Church in Manhattan's West Village. A diverse group of faith leaders and activists came together with a unified message of reform.
People are here from so many different groups to call for just and humane immigration reform, and it's the kind of thing that gets put off and put off and put off, and I think people can no longer stand as a society for us to wait any longer. So this is a call to action for reform this year in 2010.
Bless those assembled here as we gather together in faith and hope and possibility.
People have been working and fighting for many years now to try to get immigration reform passed. And I think the sense is that this is the year that it's going to happen. There's a lot of energy in our communities. Reform needs to happen for so many reasons. There are so many millions of people in this country who deserve a chance to finally get legal status, to become fully a part of our country.
Everyone who works hard must be treated with dignity and respect. We must be the example of the world. People come to this country to live the American dream, not to dream the American dream.
Our immigrants' family needs to be legalized. They are great members of our society. They are contributing a lot to our society.
You realize that something has happened, something has changed in the nature of our society, and I don't think we took a vote collectively on it. And the outcome is broken families, broken communities.
My own husband, who was a legal permanent resident for almost 40 years, was deported 3.5 years ago, and without any ability to go in front of a judge and say that, that he belonged to stay here with myself and our 3 children, who are all U.S. citizens.
El señor Presidente Obama, con todo el poder y la capacidad que él tiene,
with all the power that you have,
pare todas esas redadas
please stop all deportations,
que nos ha destruido tantas familias.
which is destroying all our families.
I have lots of friends who are suffering because their relationships are being torn apart. They spend their whole lives looking for the person they love, and then the person has to leave the country, or they have to leave the country in order to be with them.
Well, I think churches around the country and around the world can help to highlight the moral dimension of this issue. You've got people who are all about family. Immigrants basically come to this country to make a better life for their families.
More than any other command in the Bible is this idea of welcoming the stranger. So much more than any other reference from God. This is really something that's key. So I think if people simply look at the issue and don't hide from it and follow their conscience and follow the Scripture, there's such an immediate, obvious Christian mandate on this issue.
Many churches, people of faith, of different faith background that support immigration reform. I mean, again, I am going back to the prayer service that we had on September 14th, which show the dynamic, the diversity of so many people from different backgrounds, from different church perspective, supporting immigration reform. It's the just thing to do, rooted in the teachings of the church.
And we'll have much more on immigration a little later in the show. But stay tuned. When Carnes returns, Bishop Sansaric responds to a controversial statement from Pat Robertson.
And we'll take you to a local mass for the victims of the earthquake in Haiti.
We pray for their souls and for those people who are suffering.
Well, welcome back to Currents. I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. Coming up a little bit later, one man in Queens sacrifices his time and money to feed the hungry.
He sure does. But first, let's take a look at the day's headlines. As Haitians continue to pick up the pieces following this week's devastating earthquake, New Yorkers took time out yesterday to pray for the victims. A special mass was held at St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan, and our Natalia Ortiz was there.
Show him where they are. He's going to flash the light, okay?
Are they alive? 3 alive. 3 alive. We need more people down here.
The images are all too familiar. They show the remnants of a destroyed Haiti after being struck by its first earthquake since 1946. The natural disaster, which left thousands dead and many displaced, brought people of faith together at St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan, where a mass was held for the victims.
During the homily, retired Archbishop Edward Egan asked for people to pray for all of those affected by the earthquake.
I have a lot of connection with Haiti and great sympathy.
And many among the pews were praying for those they've never met in a country they've never visited.
I watched the reports this morning. I was quite concerned. So I came to say a few prayers for them. People I don't know, but the Lord will look after them. We know that.
This New Yorker, however, has someone specific she keeps in her thoughts.
I have a pastor whose brother is missing there, so Pastor Lubin, if you hear this, I send my prayers.
I feel sorry for them, obviously, and the Mass was for them, so we pray for their souls and for those people who are suffering, so may God bless them.
Leading that mass was retired New York Archbishop Edward Egan. Archbishop Timothy Dolan was unable to be at the mass at St. Patrick's yesterday because he is in Rome. But Dolan, who is chairman of Catholic Relief Services, did have some powerful words about the situation in Haiti yesterday when he spoke to Catholic News Service.
Haiti is the broken, bloody body of Jesus in the arms of his Blessed Mother, and crying out to the world now for aid and assistance. First of all, the urgency of the gospel would compel us to help anybody, anywhere, anytime. But there's a special urgency and there's a special gravity here. We're talking about neighbors in Haiti. We're talking about a population that is highly Catholic. We're talking about a population that we know and love because there's so many Haitian Catholics in the United States.
Brooklyn Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio released a statement yesterday urging pastors in the Brooklyn Diocese to take up a special collection for Haiti this weekend. The bishop also encouraged parishioners to be in prayer for the earthquake victims.
Well, you can imagine what a terrible time this is for Haitians living in the U.S., seeing all of the devastation while feeling like there's not a lot they can do about it. CNN's Mary Snow talked to some of them.
At an office that usually handles immigration issues for Haitians, phones rang constantly with people asking for information, any information about their families in Haiti. And when Haiti's prime minister initially told CNN that there may be hundreds of thousands of deaths, it was more than Andre Lafleur could take. She hasn't been able to reach her mother, 2 sisters, and 5 brothers who live outside Port-au-Prince. She says she's been praying as she watches images of the devastation.
And I hope if my family watching the TV and in Haiti, and they try to call us and let us know what's going on, because we are so worried over there because we don't have no news, nothing. Haiti.
Her co-worker, Rachel Pierre, keeps monitoring her Facebook page where she's received pictures of the wreckage. She told us she can't even count how many times she's tried calling her parents, brothers, and sisters in Haiti since Tuesday night and doesn't know what to do next.
I don't know. Just don't know. Shock. I'm shocked.
While the women wait on word, a man walked in to volunteer to go to Haiti to help.
If you want me to go right now, I'm going.
Not far away in this Brooklyn neighborhood, Radio Soleil has become an information hub, which has been simulcasting a radio station in Haiti when possible. Rico Dupree is the station manager.
Haiti is not made to withstand no hurricane, no earthquake, even 1 on the Richter scale, 7 on the Richter scale. My goodness, this is unbelievable, unthinkable. When this thing is all over, it will be something that nobody can imagine.
And this Catholic priest from Haiti says now part of his job for the community is to stay strong.
Usually, when a disaster happens, when you're not down there on the ground to know exactly what's happening, the fear is the worst. Your fear will be the worst happen. Until you get the word that it's okay, then you calm yourself down.
That report from CNN's Mary Snow. Well, seismologists have blamed the Haiti earthquake on a sudden release of energy caused by one side of a fault line sliding past another. But televangelist Pat Robertson, though, has a different explanation, a pact with the devil. Here's what he had to say on his show, The 700 Club.
Something happened a long time ago in Haiti, and people may not want to talk about it. They were under the heel of the French. You know, Napoleon III and whatever. And they got together and swore a pact to the devil. They said, we will serve you if you'll get us free from the French.
Well, after hearing that, we spoke with Brooklyn Auxiliary Bishop Guy Sansaric, who, as we've said, is Haitian American, and we got his response.
He's making reference to what we call the oath of Bois Caïman. It is something that took place really in the history of Haiti when the slaves were about to rebel against French slavery. They did go to the woods and made a voodoo ceremony. But they were people who had not been exposed to revelation, and therefore who were screaming to their God, the way they knew him, and asked their God's support. I was not present, and I presume that Mr. Pat Robertson was not present. We cannot say that this is what caused the Haitian Revolution. The Haitian Revolution was caused by the union of various groups in Haiti who banded together, as it happened in the United States of America. We have no right to stand in judgment over anything. The plans of God are impenetrable. In the face of a tragedy of that magnitude, we do not need shallow theology.
Well, that is Brooklyn Auxiliary Bishop Guy Sansaric.
That's right, and there is going to be a Mass tomorrow night, Friday night. It's going to be over at Holy Cross Church in East Flatbush, and that's going to be at around 7:30. And although it will be said in Creole, everyone is welcome to come and pray. They want to just invite the whole entire community to come together. And in about another month or so, Bishop DiMarzio is going to have a really large Mass, and we will keep you posted on that and when that's going to be. Well, stay tuned. There's much more current straight ahead. Just ahead, immigrants have a place to turn. We'll find out what's available here in Brooklyn.
What's really needed is some education on the part of the American people, first of all, about why immigration reform is necessary.
As we mentioned earlier, immigration policy is going to be a major issue when dealing with Haitians who are already here in the U.S. and those who may seek asylum here in the future.
Leaders from the Brooklyn Diocese are among those pushing for temporary protected status for Haitian citizens who fit into either one of those categories. One of those leaders is Monsignor Ronald Marino, the diocesan vicar for migrants.
And earlier this week, before the tragedy in Haiti, I had a chance to sit down and speak with Monsignor Marino about the need for immigration reform here in the U.S. Here's what he had to say. Monsignor Marino, thank you so much for being here today, sir. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Now, you're, of course, the Vicar for Migration for the Brooklyn Diocese. Tell me a little bit about that and what the Office of Migration does in the diocese.
Well, it's the agency of the diocese that takes care of the needs of immigrants. And we have many different departments, for example, legal services, where we have immigration lawyers to take care of the needs of the immigrants who are legally seeking some type of benefit from the government, meaning an immigration benefit, like a visa. We have English schools that we run in the parishes. We have a housing advocacy department that tries to correct the situation of immigrants living in substandard housing and people abusing them, and many, many other programs like that.
Well, now recently there's been a lot of talk about immigration reform and that sort of being the next thing on the agenda for Congress to kind of tackle. The bishops have been talking about it a lot as well and encouraging Catholics to get out and speak up about positive immigration reform. What is actually needed as far as immigration reform is concerned?
What's really needed is some education on the part of the American people, first of all, about why immigration reform is necessary. And I think that's the first step that we, the diocese, is going to take in preparing the diocese for such a thing. And then secondly, the visa situation and the immigration laws are so antiquated and so impractical right now that it's almost impossible for those that are called illegals to become legal. And there's no way for them to fix their situation under the present law. So we have disjointed families. Some family members live outside the country, others live here, and the church is interested in family reunification. We have people who work without papers only because there are no papers available for them to use. The church is interested in making sure people understand the issues before they take sides one way or the other. So a big education campaign is what's needed first.
Right. And then comes the
the Congress making the laws and debating the laws, and we will take issue with whatever they bring up and hopefully help them to make decent changes in the laws. And when they don't, we'll be a loud voice to tell them that they're making a mistake.
Now, you've spoken about this briefly just a little bit before when you talked about working without papers and things like that and some of the obstacles that immigrants face today. Expand on that a little bit and talk about some of the other obstacles that they face.
Well, I mean, to be able to live here in this country with one eye over your shoulder all the time doesn't quite help make a healthy society. It's important for people to understand that while these people might be, quote unquote, working illegally, they'd give anything to be able to be legal here in the United States, except there's no way they can be legal. The laws don't permit them to qualify for anything that's legal, so they work. And why do they work? Because there are jobs available to them. And why are there jobs available to them? Because they are jobs that Americans don't want to do. Everybody knows that without their unofficial economy, we would be in big trouble here. The whole agricultural industry of the United States is done by immigrant workers, hotel workers, cab drivers, all kinds of people that are immigrant workers, restaurant workers. What would happen if they just didn't do any work at all? I mean, life would be very different here. And the people work hard. They're not troublemakers. They are not terrorists. They are people with families trying to take care of their kids here and at home. And decent work is not available to them because of their situation. They are often underpaid and taken advantage of in the workplace. And so we hope the reforms will address a lot of these issues.
Well, of course, this is an issue that we'll be talking a lot about for a long time to come. Monsignor, we hope to have you back here to talk about it at some point in the future.
I'd love to.
Thank you for your time. Well, that is Monsignor Ronald Marino. He's the Vicar for Migrants here in the Brooklyn Diocese.
That is such a challenging issue, and although there, may be some relief at this immediate moment in that area, what the long-term implications are going to be, what things are going to mean for people, for Haitians long-term, are yet to be determined. Yeah, and a big thing that Monsignor Marino said was education. Just as far as immigration policy in general, education is what is needed to show people that these folks they're people. They're not just numbers that you have people that come in. They're actual people, and they're faces and names and lives and stories behind these people. Right. And they come to the United States for a better life. So it's something to think about. And it's the challenge, of course, is that a lot of times people feel as though there's a double standard, between a political refugee and an economic refugee. Yeah. And that's really what I think the heart of the issue is here. So hopefully, Haitians can be happy and safe if they are in this country and can stay. Absolutely. Well, stay tuned. There's much more Currents coming up. When we return, an angel in Queens answers the prayers of those who are hungry.
Every day when I get up from my bed, I just kneel down and pray to God to give me the strength, like you say, energy to do this.
Well, finally tonight, a different look at immigration through the eyes of a man who is doing something remarkable for those seeking a new start in a new home.
Jorge Munoz is a school bus driver by day, and at night he works with his mother and his sister to feed the hungry. Most are undocumented immigrants.
Remarkably, Munoz and his family do all of this with their own time and their own money. It's truly a labor of love. Take a look.
Since my childhood, my mother told me to share. My mother always told me, if you share, you're okay with God. I'm from Colombia, and I used to hang around here because most of the Colombian restaurants are around here. I live in Jamaica. So I used to come here to hang out, get a couple of beers, eat, and then come back home. And I noticed this guy standing in the street. I asked him, why are you waiting down here? I mean, in a corner. He says they're waiting till police goes away because they're sleeping under the bridge. So I say, how you make out for food? If we work, we got money for food. If not, we just wait. That's it. I got that food on home. I start to bring in. One night there were 8 guys, and then the following week was 24. And then the numbers growing and growing. And you see, like today, there was more than 130 shows up to eat. In the beginning was day laborers, and now it's people who's suffering because of the economy. They has no job, they has no money to buy food. And some of them, they had to choose between paying rent or eat. It's like a mission from God. What I believe is trying to change the life of 100 guys is beautiful. While you handling that meal at night at 9:30, there's people waiting for 45 minutes in the cold weather, and you handling that meal, you see the smile, you feeling it inside is great. That feeling is great. You can't change that for nothing. You just want to do it, keep doing it every day. Maybe from 5 years to now, 5.5, we serve about 90,000 meals right now. Every day, 7 days a week. I get up around 5:15 in the morning, and I'm going to sleep right maybe by 12:30. Monday to Friday, and Saturday, Sunday, sometimes I get up like 6:30, 7, and I go and sleep same time, 12:30. Every day when I get up from my bed, I just kneel down and pray to God to give me the strength, like you say, energy to do this. I don't want to stop, but because I just think about if I stop one day, who's going to fix this guy? So I got my mom, my sister, and like 4 or 5 volunteers at home who help me out to cook. Sometimes like today, we cook like 50 pounds of chicken, like 20 pounds of rice, and 50 pounds of pasta. And we brought like maybe 120 pieces of bread and about 130 cups of coffee. So I think God is the one who moved us. In the beginning was my salary, and that donation from the summer camp. There was a donation, but that donation is working for 2-3 days. And then they start to ask me, did you be here tomorrow? Because we're not gonna have a job, so we may not have nothing to eat. So I start to using my salary. For 4 years, I was using my salary. When I go on bed my house, I got a warm bed. I can get a coffee, plate of cereal, can take a shower. These guys, where they gonna go? street, it's hard for them. So at least on home, the way we think is make a little change for them. Someday I'm gonna have vacation, but for now, if I stop, I'm gonna have to worry about, I'm gonna get worried. So I not to stop, just keep going, keep coming here. First of all, I want you to get like a place where they can sit down and eat like a regular human being, not eating right in the street. Right now, we got a little bit of a nice weather, but when the cold's coming, like a few years ago, it was 12 degrees and they were standing like there eating. What else we're gonna do? Just, my project is like get a place where they can sit down, they can take a shower, like be there with them.
Jorge Munoz, and he says that he's handed out around 90,000 meals since he started 4 years ago. And just last year, he was named one of the top 10 CNN heroes with that award. And as part of that, they get some money that they can use for their charity, their charitable endeavors.
Definitely a big help for him. He's just doing a lot of good there in Queens, and you can see like the long line of people and how many people he's able to help. I'm sure just amazing there. As you said, 90,000 people so far and counting,
right.
And it's really something that makes a big difference.
Well, we're lucky today it's up to mid-40s, but it's a few weeks ago and even more recently, it gets darn cold in New York, and they're out, with nothing really, and that hot cup of coffee, that hot chicken, a good meal, a nutritious meal, they are out there working. It's not that they're not trying to do anything, and so that he's able to help them and do that is really quite remarkable.
Yeah, and then he does his own job in addition to that, so it's an amazing thing that he does.
Buy the supplies.
That's it.
Well, that is it for this edition of Currents. Coming up tomorrow, the latest news from Haiti. And closer to home, we'll have a look at vocations at the end of this Vocations Awareness Week.
Meantime, remember, though, you can always catch us online. CurrentsNY.net is the web address. For all of us here at Currents, I'm Matt McClure.
And I'm Francesca Maxime. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.